Want to stay broke? Do these 5 habits religiously. They work every time. If you tried budgeting, investing, and still feel stuck, here's the catch. It's not what you're doing right. It's what you're doing wrong on autopilot. I'll show you the 5 fastest paths to financial failure. Then flip each one into a fix you can use today. We'll hit lifestyle inflation, ignoring your numbers, trend chasing, status liabilities, and the bad advice loop. There's one shift at the end that cuts your risk in half. Stick around. I'll walk you through the exact steps. If you want to stay broke, make sure your spending rises with your income. The raise hits Friday, the new apartment, the car upgrade, and the latest phone hit Monday. The thing most people miss is how variable costs creep. Subscriptions, eating out, upgrades, and debt fills the gaps. When that happens, compounding turns on you. Interest compounds against you the same way investments compound for you. Here's why this hurts. Credit cards often come with APRs in the mid to high teens or more. Pay the minimum, and you stretch payment timelines dramatically. The reason this works against you is simple math. Most minimums barely touch principal after interest, so your balance lingers and your future paychecks get pre-spent. What actually locks you in is the "I deserve it" logic. You worked hard, so you normalize maxing cards just this once, pre-upgrading before the raise clears, and calling buy now, pay later, free money. BNPL splits a price into smaller chunks so it feels cheaper, but stack a few of those and your calendar is packed with due dates. It's debt dressed up as convenience. Let me show you exactly how to break it. Freeze your lifestyle for 12 months after any raise. Route the difference automatically to savings or investing. Use a simple budget cap like a 50-30-20 variant. Needs, wants, and pay yourself first. If that feels tight, shave wants before you touch the savings line. The quick win is immediate. Set up an auto transfer for the raise amount today. If you remember nothing else, remember this: automation beats willpower. Common mistakes to avoid: treating one-time windfalls like permanent income and counting BNPL as cash. And here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Call your card issuer and ask about a lower APR or a hardship plan. Even a small cut saves you real money. Once you nail that, everything else clicks. Even if you stop inflating, you'll still go broke fast if you never look at the numbers. If you want guaranteed chaos, fly blind. Don't track spending, don't check net worth, let bills run on autopilot with no review. You can't steer what you don't measure, and small leaks scale into debt. Here's why. Without feedback, your brain underestimates spending and overestimates what's left. That mismatch turns surprise bills into high-interest debt, and you're back feeding the interest machine. The thing most people miss is how a lack of an emergency fund turns routine life into financial crisis. Job loss, medical bills, or car repairs happen. Without cash set aside, you borrow at high rates. During crises, many households deplete savings quickly. That's not a failure of willpower, it's a lack of a plan. Here's the fix that works. Do a weekly money check-in. 10 minutes, same time each week. Open your accounts, list your fixed bills, set caps for variable categories like food and fun. Pick a simple method, zero-based. Give every dollar a job, or an 80-15-5 split. 80% living, 15% saving and investing, 5% fun. Either can work if you do it consistently. Then, build an emergency fund target of 3 to 6 months of core expenses. Start with 1 month as your first milestone. Let me show you exactly how to start today. Create one automatic transfer to a separate savings account right after payday. Even a small amount builds the habit. Name that account Emergency Fund so you're less tempted to raid it. Add one line to your calendar. The weekly money check-in. Common mistakes to avoid. Counting your credit limit as cash, ignoring annual and irregular expenses like insurance premiums or holidays, and refusing to adjust category caps when reality changes. Here's the shortcut. Scan your last 2 statements for repeating charges, then cancel one you don't use. That's a permanent raise. The next part separates beginners from pros. Once your system's running, review your net worth monthly. Assess minus debts. The number might be negative at first. That's okay. The trend is what matters. Seeing it move in the right direction is the win that keeps you going. If you want to torch cash fast, chase every hot tip. Jump from crypto to options to whatever your feed shouts about this week. The thing most people miss is dopamine. Hype trades your stability for a quick hit. You feel engaged, but your money takes the risk. Peaks and crashes are common. Most people end up buying high when it feels safe and selling low when panic hits. Here's why that hurts. Timing markets consistently beats most beginners. You're competing with algorithms and pros, and you're using emotion. That gap shows up as losses or missed gains. Meanwhile, the boring part, the savings you automate, gets skipped. So when a real opportunity comes, there's no cash cushion, only FOMO. Here's the better method. Create a play money cap. 10% or less of your investable cash is your sandbox. Lose it, and your life doesn't change. Then automate the rest. Savings first, investing second. Use diversified, low-cost funds for your core. Broad exposure at low fees. The reason this works is simple. Steady contributions turn volatility into a tailwind over time. Let me show you how to apply it today. First, set a rule. No speculation until you've built a 3-month emergency fund. That's your shock absorber. Next, set 2 automation lines. One to savings, one to a broad index fund or ETF inside a retirement or brokerage account. Finally, cap your play trades. If you hit the cap, you stop. No refills till next month. Common mistakes to avoid. Copying highlight reels as if they're plans, mistaking confidence for competence, and using margin or debt to amplify small wins. Shortcut. Write a 1-sentence thesis for any trade. Why you'll enter, why you'll exit, and what changes your mind. If you can't write it, you don't buy it. Even if you stop trend chasing, status buys can still keep you broke on schedule. If you want predictable broke, think monthly payment, not total cost. Grab the dream car with a long loan. Stretch the mortgage to the limit because it's an investment. The thing most people miss is depreciation and upkeep. New cars typically lose notable value quickly, and that drop is only part of the bill. Insurance, taxes, maintenance, and interest pile on. Add them up, and you're paying far more than the sticker price. Here's why this traps you. Loans lock you into fixed payments. Those payments block wealth moves. Less saved, less invested, less optionality. A house you live in is mostly a monthly outflow. It can be a fine lifestyle choice, but it doesn't throw off cash. Treating it like an ATM with cash-out refis or HELOCs magnifies risk. Let's break down the total cost of ownership. With cars, compare used versus new, financing terms, insurance tier, fuel, routine service, and expected repairs. With housing, look past the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, HOA, maintenance, and closing costs. Here's the thing. When you price the full life cycle, affordable often isn't. Here's the fix. Buy below your means. Aim for a reliable used car and keep total car costs under 10% of take-home pay. If you can, pay more upfront to avoid high-rate financing. Delay upgrades until your assets cover them, meaning passive income or safe withdrawal can carry that cost without stress. Try this today. Price your current liabilities using a simple annual total. Payment plus insurance, taxes, maintenance, and interest. Divide by your take-home. If it's crowding out savings and investing, make a plan to downshift at the next natural exit. Lease end, loan payoff, or refi window. Call your insurer and lender. A rate reduction or deductible tweak can free cash now. Common mistake to avoid. Calling your primary residence an investment. While it drains cash every month, it can build equity, but it's not cash flow. Treat it like it is, an expense you choose and cap. Cut the status costs, and you avoid one trap. But one more habit locks in broke for years. If you want broke results, copy broke models. Your circle normalizes debt, hype trades, and short-term thinking. The echo chamber sounds confident. Easy money, no budgeting, and minimum payments as a plan. Here's why that hurts. Money beliefs are contagious. If everyone shrugs at high-interest debt, you will too. Here's the fix. Audit your inputs. Swap an hour of random social tips for one reputable book, course, or regulator-backed resource each week. Follow 3 credible educators who teach basics, budgeting, debt payoff methods, and diversified investing. Schedule a monthly money date with someone responsible to review goals and numbers. Common mistake. Mistaking confidence for competence. Loud isn't expert. Ask, what's your process? If there's no clear approach, no plan, no risk controls, nod politely and opt out. Pay yourself first, automatically. Route a fixed percentage to savings and investing before spending. Split direct deposit, raise the percent with each raise, and build your emergency fund before any speculation. Automation cuts decisions, kills temptations, and grows a buffer fast. Fewer choices, fewer mistakes, more progress on repeat. Here's the point. Avoid 5 habits. Lifestyle inflation, ignoring your numbers, trend chasing, status liabilities, and bad advice. And make paying yourself first automatic. That's how you beat the broke cycle. Subscribe for weekly, practical finance tips. And like this if you want the advanced playbook on negotiation and debt payoff.